Good morning from a very early and wet Hamburg. I checked the weather before we left the hotel and it did not say that it was raining, but it's raining pretty hard out here. A little bit more than a mist. So hopefully the camera can make it. But right now we're kind of rushing to make our train. We have about 15 or so minutes to make it, so we're gonna do our best and see if we can get there. So I figure I should mention that our train got canceled. I threw that little sign in there to let everybody know. It's interesting that about halfway on our 9-minute walk, I checked on the Deutsche Bahn app to see if our train was canceled, and it did not say that it was canceled. But in the 4 minutes that it took us to get to the platform, that's when we found out that the train actually started from Cologne, like unexpectedly started early, which doesn't make any sense because Cologne is basically further down from Hamburg. So they basically started the train early on a different part of the track, which is part of the reason we were not able to take that train today. So we did get rebooked. I did have seats booked on that train that were pretty nice. But I was able to go to the travel center here and rebook those. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be taking that train. Don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but the trains here in Germany are really rough. I think if anybody has a really quick trip that they want to make, I would not take trains. I would not be relying on trains. I would definitely rent a car or just like schedule a flight or something. But for inner city travel, trains are really rough here. So our new train was just delayed by about 18 minutes, and our connection to our second train was actually only 10 minutes. So that pretty much guarantees we miss our connection. So I love that. I hope I don't sound like I'm complaining, but to be honest, I don't think I've been on a single train in Germany that has not been delayed. And the fact that they put like 10 or 15-minute connections or even like a possibility here are like absolutely ridiculous. So don't do that to yourself. Just don't. So we did end up missing our connection. They did try to hold the train for us, but they refused to delay at the station. It said that they were unable to hold, so we missed that train entirely. It was leaving before we even pulled into the station, so it was a negative transfer time, so it wasn't even possible for us to make it. Unfortunately, the next train that we were supposed to take at 1 o'clock has been canceled entirely. So now we found a little inner city train that we are going to try to take. It takes us about halfway there, but it stops a lot more frequently. And there's no really designated seat. It's not really a high-speed train. So it adds about an hour to our travel time. So we should be getting there around hopefully about 2:30, 2:45-ish today. So it's a little bit better to at least be able to get there because the next train that we were supposed to take at 1:30 has been canceled now. So, and then I just found out right now that this train has also been delayed, and we only have a 21-minute transfer time for the next train. So, if you think trains are reliable in Europe, just don't. Just, if you don't care when you get there or how you get there, trains are definitely valuable.
So, it has not been a great travel day. Our first train was canceled. Took a second train. We're in the kind of a middle of nowhere. And then we took another train, and that train ended up splitting into two trains, and we were not sitting on the correct train. They made the announcement, and about 30 seconds later, the train split. So it kind of sucks because we wouldn't even have time to switch to the front. So now we're in the middle of nowhere. We're trying to take a train to Amsterdam. We do have one train that'll get us to Arnhem station and then we're gonna have to try to find a train out of there. There's currently one available. The second one was already canceled, so yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be taking trains when we come back, so should be interesting. All right, so we finally made it to Amsterdam. It took a very long time, almost all day, with the canceled trains and the delayed trains and all that nonsense. So this is our final room tour of our trip. We're staying at the, oh shoot, now I forgot what it was called. The Dijpoort van Klav. It's one of the most famous buildings in the city because it was one of the first breweries which reached its glory under Heineken. So the original Heineken, this is his building. And it was also the first building in Amsterdam to have electricity, which is pretty cool. And it was one of the main places that was a big supporter of emancipation. Yeah, there's a lot of history behind this building. So it's a pretty cool place to stay. From what I know, it's pretty centralized. So let's give you a little tour. We have a nice like closet area, plenty of space for your luggage. That's a carry-on size down there, so you can stand them up straight. And then the bathroom, pretty standard. Nice deep tub, so that's kind of cool. You can soak after a long day. And then you actually have steps down here to the main area where you have a nice big bed. And then you have your coffee station, TV, water, etc. They do give you these little stroop waffles, which are great. Ben loves stroop waffles. Oh, we have a pretty cool view of the city out here. That's nice. And they do give you little pillow mints as well. Nice place. They were very nice at reception, gave us plenty of help planning things, and I think we might go through them to help us book a canal tour for maybe tomorrow. Is the Festival of Lights here, so that'll be fun. All right, now we need to find some food because we've been traveling all day and we really haven't eaten much, so I think dinner is next. So we are here exploring Amsterdam tonight. We're gonna do more tomorrow, but we're exploring the red light district tonight, which is why we don't have our camera with us and we're on our cell phone.
Yes, that's actually because there is not only rules against it, but there's actually like legal laws against having cameras and taking pictures in the red light district. So that's probably why you won't see much video from
Any video.
Yeah, any.
It's respecting the girls.
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna say you won't see much video from Amsterdam only because of those reasons. Because there's a significant rules here about what you can and can't take pictures of, and it's in order to protect people's privacy.
So yeah, we're just walking around. You'll see some canal views, and then probably pick back up tomorrow morning when we go for breakfast.
All right, good morning from a cool but not cold Amsterdam. It's a little bit cloudy today, so I think we're just gonna walk around today. I don't think there's any chance of rain, so we're not too concerned about that. So we're gonna go across the street to this cafe that we saw. We really like it. It's actually pretty neat. We walked by it last night, but it was closed last night. If you don't know, in Amsterdam, cafes and bakeries and coffee shops, they're all a little bit different. I think cafes typically sell things that are known as illicit substances in the United States, whereas like bakeries and coffee shops sell the more typical stuff that you're used to in Europe. So that's definitely something to know before you get here. There's a bunch of things that are totally different in Amsterdam. I'm definitely still learning, but there's a bunch of blogs and stuff online that really help us understand. I also learned something really interesting today is that on the trams, you can actually buy tickets on the tram, which is really interesting because that's almost the complete opposite of like every other public transit in Europe, like at least in Germany and a few of the other countries that I've been to. there's a lot of rules about like you have to buy the ticket before you get on, because if you get on without a ticket, that's where you get a fine and that's when you're riding illegally. But here they're like, oh, you can just get on the tram and buy a ticket right then and there. So that's really an interesting way of doing it. Also, the trains and tram are separated. So if you're thinking about coming here and getting like a single pass, you actually have to buy a separate pass for trains, but trams, buses, and the underground are all on one ticket. So it's really interesting.
So this morning for breakfast, instead of doing the hotel breakfast, we decided to go to Melly's Cookie Bar, which is right across the street from our hotel. And I've been watching it like through the window, and I'm like, ugh, that place looks so nice. I just want to go. So I got a dulce de leche croissant, which I think is caramel. So instead of like the traditional way of like filling the croissant with the toppings, he actually cuts it in half and then puts the toppings on it. Wow. It's like the lightest caramel I've ever tasted. It's really good, actually, because I'm only a caramel person if it's like a caramel macchiato. It was really good. Ben, you don't like caramel, and I think you'll like this.
Yeah, we'll try it. There's definitely way more croissant flavor coming through than like caramel flavor. It's very good though. It's very sweet. It's definitely not a strong caramel flavor. I like it though. I could definitely eat more of this. So I went with the more traditional route of the standard chocolate croissant. So same thing. This one is made, by putting the filling in the middle, which like most chocolate croissants are, but this one's cut in half first.
Good.
It's very good. It's definitely less like an American chocolate. It's way closer to like a more nougat, like more Nutella flavor, but it's good. Just a guy at 9 in the morning driving around his trailer through Amsterdam blaring music.
I've never seen a drivable trailer.
I've never seen anything like that before either. It's pretty funny. It's like a giant meme machine. Only in Amsterdam. So the biking scene here is significantly more like intense than Copenhagen. So if you're not prepared, I don't think I'd be willing to rent a bike here. I would be so nervous with like how aggressive and how fast some of the people ride here. I feel like it's crazy. There's just a lot of salons here. Like I think that's been one of the most common stores that we've seen, which has been, I don't want to say it's surprising, but there's just a lot. Like I feel like there's way more salons than number of people that need their haircut, and I don't know why.
Same with restaurants.
Yeah, there's also a ton of restaurants.
So many restaurants. It's hard to make a decision on which one you want for dinner.
Yeah, when you walk down like a street, there's probably like 5 or 6 restaurants on that street, and then like 2 or 3 salons, like, and then like maybe like 1 or 2 like meat and cheese and wine shop. Like it's really interesting what makes up the streets here, and it's something I haven't seen in other places.
Amsterdam's been really interesting so far. Tram ride, a little crazy. It was like really rocking, so find your seat and sit down quick. Also, you can buy your tickets on there. There's like a ticket booth with a guy like working it on the tram, so you're like trying to pay for your stuff and like getting rocked around. It's a very interesting experience, but it went pretty smoothly. But it was definitely one of the more interesting tram experiences.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of like a sensory like overload kind of thing. Like you're moving, there's a lot of noise, you're trying to listen, like, The other interesting thing here is that I think a lot of people speak English. So if you are a native English speaker, this place is great for that.
I haven't heard anybody speak Dutch.
Yeah, well, I have. I've heard a few people speak Dutch, but
oh, really?
Yes. But it's definitely almost everybody here speaks English, which has been really surprising to us because, coming from Germany or Oslo, where a lot of people speak English, not everybody though. So Here, it's like almost everybody speaks English, which is kind of surprising.
Also, where we're going right now is to a market. It's a day market, and it's the largest day market in Europe. There's over 260 stalls with flowers, goods, jewelry, clothes, food, anything you can really want. So pretty excited. I love markets, and it's just a fun thing to walk through. Even if you're not going to buy anything, it's a free thing to do, and it's a good way to see how people interact in a city.
It's a year-round market, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Museum Street. I appreciate it. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the show Wipeout, but the swinging Christmas trees reminded me of that show Wipeout, where people get hit by all of the the swinging beanbags, but it was like the Christmas version of it, where you just get hit by random Christmas trees. I think they're supposed to be more like a floating Christmas tree, but because the wind is so high today, they look a little bit more like a game show.
You want to try your cookie? You want me to try your cookie?
Oh, I thought it was for you.
Oh, okay. So this is a coconut ball? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a lemon flavored fried coconut ball. We just walked by, thought it was interesting. I don't think it's traditional or anything. Maybe it is, we just don't know. But it looked good. Is it good?
Yeah.
Amazing. I love that.
I'm not a coconut person, but it's good.
I love it. I love coconut though. Going. So we were going to try to go to the Rijksmuseum, but unfortunately for us, it looks like there's it's over an hour wait to get in. So we kind of put a little bit of a kibosh on that. So right now I think we're going to try to go walk by the Anne Frank house. We don't have tickets for the Anne Frank house, but we're going to go check it out, at least see if there's anything that we can see on the outside. There's also a little museum kind of close to there, and it's also kind of close to our hotel. So we're going to go check that out. But hopefully you guys all enjoyed the Christmas market that we saw. That's the biggest one here in Amsterdam.
So we're here in Jordan area. It's like the older part of Amsterdam, less touristy, more just like cafes, shops, things like that.
More like, yeah, standard things that most people who live here need. So we're just kind of walking through this. As you can see, there is a crazy number of bicycles on the side of the street. But that's just because everybody bikes around here.
And we're gonna go walk past the Anne Frank house.
Right, so as I said previously, we are gonna go check out the Anne Frank house. We do not have tickets. However, we are just going to kind of take a look on the outside. We'll see if there's something else that we can do today, but we gotta find lunch at some point. I don't think either of us are too hungry, especially after some of the food that we had at the market. But we might get some stroopwafels later. So that's one of like the big things here. So I know I said earlier that it's not going to rain today, but it's definitely been misting all day. So I definitely think it's kind of like a tea and stroopwafel kind of day.
That's one of the tours that I was thinking about doing. It's like the cheese board and like drink tour.
I think I'm a little too cheap.
So Pancakes Amsterdam. That was a recommendation to us by one of my friends. And I have some pros and cons. Cons first is that it's a little expensive for pancakes.
It's definitely not cheap. And I think part of the reason is I don't want to say it's more of a tourist destination because they definitely make authentic food. but it's definitely authentic food that's marketed more towards tourists. And to be honest, I'm sure there's like other places that you could find that could give you like a very similar like style food, but I think it would be hard to find a lot of those in the same places. So,
but it was a cute little sit-down restaurant. Service was great. The food was great. I would recommend going there if you're looking for a specific style pancakes. I think I can actually make them at home now, so I think we'll probably try that when we get home.
absolutely.
And at the end, they gave us this little like
Clog.
thing. So that's kind of cool.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, and they're very nice people. I would definitely recommend if you're coming here and you're looking for like authentic Dutch pancakes, this is definitely one of the places that I would recommend stopping.
All right, it's a little windy. We're gonna go head back to the hotel to talk about Canal tours.
Yes. So I should mention they had very fast and free Wi-Fi. So this place was great. I struggled to upload one of our YouTube videos last night. It took me almost like 3 hours to upload it. But this place, I probably would have been done in 20-30 minutes. So if you need to upload a video or you need a place to kind of sit down and figure out what you're doing for the rest of the day, it's a great spot to kind of use some nice fast Wi-Fi.
So we're back at the hotel and we picked up some of Melly's stroopwafels. For those of you who don't know, Amsterdam stroopwafels are like a big thing here, and stroopwafel is like a really thin waffle with two of them, and then like there's like dulce de leche in the middle. And we got a Biscoff cookie one, so it's like dipped in chocolate and has some Biscoff cookie crumbles on it. We did have an Oreo one, but we already ate it because we were hungry. Just like the Oreo one, this one's really good. Something just satisfying about them. I'm sure it's better when it's warm. We waited for it to cool down, but it's really good.
So I really don't want to be too much of a downer here.
Don't book the Lover's Cruise.
To be honest, it just really wasn't what I expected. And what I had read online for a lot of these things, a lot of them had like free coffee and drinks or water and
Not
tea.
free, but included.
Right, it was included in the ticket price. So this was a little bit different. I mean, we had booked a boat for 6:45. It was only supposed to be an hour long. It ended up being like, we got on significantly later, because they had a line that was like out the door. We kind of booked this group based on the recommendation of our hotel. I don't know if that was the best idea. I don't know if there's some sort of deal or kickback, but yeah, I don't think I would do that again.